Hi, I have received several emails that the audio files are not working, and so I'm going to try this new Screencast-O-Matic. Well, it's new to me anyway, and I think hopefully this will help explain some things as you get ready to administer the QRI to your student. Um, I'm going to first just show you the miscue sheet. This is loaded for you on D2L, and it just shows you the 7 types of miscues that we want to code or mark as the student is reading orally for us. So we have the substitutions, and one of the things I really want to make very clear is that a substitution is different from a mispronunciation in the fact that a substitution is a real word, whereas a mispronunciation is exactly what it says. It's a mispronunciation. So when you are coding these, both of them, you code the same way. You're going to underline the word in the text and then write above it what the student actually said. So in this case, a student read this sentence, Tom ran to his house Tom ran to his horse after school. Now, notice I corrected this, and that is designated by the little C with the circle around it. So if a student self-corrects, you still want to code the miscue and write what they said above it, but the C with the circle around it then says, okay, they self-corrected that. But we want you to code it anyway, not erase it or just not code it, because that gives us information about the student's reading. For example, it lets us know that, oh, they're processing, they're monitoring their comprehension as they're reading. They realize that's not what it said or it didn't make sense, and so they corrected it. With a mispronunciation, again, you're going to underline the word in the text that the student should have read and write above it, spelling phonetically to the best of your ability, what they said. And I know on the quiz, many people get the mispronunciation component on the quiz wrong because they use a real word, and it has to be a mispronunciation of the word in the text. Then there's words aided. Student is reading along and they stop and they don't attempt the word. We code that by putting just the diagonal slash through the word. The important thing here is to wait and give your students an opportunity to try and decode the word, figure it out, because if they don't give it an attempt, we have nothing to analyze. So when you're giving the instructions on what to do before you start having the student read the graded passages, you want to be sure to tell them that when they come to a word they don't know, to give it a try. See what do you think it is? Because then we would have something to analyze. Again, that doesn't mean just because you ask them to do that they're going to do it. So when it happens, when they just stop, and want you to pronounce it, then just code it in this manner with the diagonal slash there. Omissions, this is when the student's simply reading along and they omit. They may omit the ending off of a word, or they may omit an entire word. Sometimes they'll omit phrases. Sometimes you'll even have a student omit an entire sentence. When that happens, you circle that, which is how we code omissions, is just circle what they omitted, but you would circle that entire line and only count it as one miscue. Because otherwise, if you circled every word and counted it, you're unfairly inflating the error rate. So if there's only 100 words and they skip a line, which is oftentimes due to their vision, not being fully developed, because students' vision is not fully developed until between the ages of 8 and 10. But it's going to pull their rate, their word recognition rate, way down. And that is not what we want to do. I mean, so you just circle that omission, that sentence, one as one miscue, or counted as one miscue. Same thing with a phrase unit, such as we have here. Okay, so then we have insertions. And insertions simply when the student is reading and they add words to the text. We code that by using the little proofreader's caret mark for insertion. We put the caret where the insertion took place and right above it what they actually said. And for example, in this particular sentence, what the student added makes the sentence far more interesting. And it's always kind of fun to stop and think, okay, why did they add this? What's going on? Do they have a lot of experience, prior knowledge that they're just filling in with? It's all part of the puzzle. So again, even when it is a multiple word insertion, if it takes place, such as this one, this would be one miscue. Repetitions. This is when a student repeats more than a single word. And what we mean by that is that's the only time it's going to be counted as a miscue, is if the repetition is more than a single word. We do want to code single word repetitions because, again, it gives us information about their reading. In this example, Don and Joe walked through the snow covered field is the way the student would have read that. We would have two miscues here. This is coded only for our information because it's a single word repetition. These are the two miscues. Repetitions are not something that everyone codes. A lot of people will code them, but they don't count them as miscues. They're not a serious kind of miscue. Oftentimes it's just a bad habit that students have, or they're buying time. Usually that's what it is. They're buying time there because, again, our vision, we're looking ahead and seeing what's coming, and we may realize, oh, there's a word there that I'm not sure what it means, or how to pronounce it. And so the mind is buying a little bit of time to think about it, and so then the student will repeat. That's normally what the situation is. So again, it is coded with a wavy line underneath whatever the student actually repeated. Our last item that we code and count as an actual miscue are reversals. And we use the proofreader's mark for reversals. Nancy was that were there 4 dogs on the loose, is how this would have been read by the student. Reversals are something, again, that are very common in beginning readers, and normally students will outgrow those reversals, again, as their vision will mature, but also they're normally, that's normally comes to an end by the end of 3rd grade. If it doesn't, then it's something we want to look at and kind of monitor and take a little bit more seriously. But most students will outgrow those. Okay, these are the 7 items that you're going to actually code and use as the miscues in your count when you figure out the student's word recognition percentage. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this particular screencast and start another one, and I'm going to go through and talk you through the PowerPoint. There's 2 PowerPoints, and the reason I'm going to do that is because it has examples of the word lists, it has the examples of the actual some of the, a sample passage and comprehension questions, and I just want to talk through that as far as what you would do when you're administering the QRI. So I'm going to stop this, and then there will be a second one that I will upload called QRI. Thank you.